I'm Liz Hirsh Naftali, and welcome to the Capital Coffee Connection podcast. And today I am super excited to be speaking with a great senator from the state of California, Alex Padilla, who I actually knew when he was, I think, about 26 years old and a council member in Los Angeles, where I grew up, where he grew up. It's only been a few years since then.
We're still young.
We're still young at heart. But I'm sitting here and I want to talk about heart and humanity because I have known you for so many years and I've known so many of the people that you worked with. I just want to say thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking time. I know it's really busy. It's always busy here in the Senate. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to talk about heart and humanity. But Alex, to think I knew you all those years ago and look who you are today. Yeah. So thank you.
Who would have thunk, right?
Who would have thunk?
But good memory. I was just turned 26 during that first campaign for city council, which, to this day, still thank the voters of the San Fernando Valley for taking a chance on me. Good memories, some good work that we did at the city level before my legislative days, before my Secretary of State days, and now here in the United States Senate.
Okay, so I also just want to mention one thing, like your oldest son is coming upon the age almost that you were thinking about running for office. Yeah. Isn't that incredible?
He's 18 now, registered to vote and eager for the next election.
Good.
And so, in just a few years, I guess, the circle of life, right? Circle of life.
Exactly. I'd love to hear a little bit about what it was like growing up in Los Angeles, what it was like with your family. Your parents were both immigrants. Right. They worked hard. They didn't have fancy jobs, but they worked so hard to give you an opportunity. Talk about not just, I would like to hear a little bit about them, but what it was like to grow up, what your life was like as a little kid.
Yeah, well, so many stories, right? We enjoy sharing the stories. So growing up in the community of Pacoima, California, the northeast end of the San Fernando Valley, so very much not, the coastal areas of the west side, very much not downtown LA. And, even in the valley, remember the Valley Girl movie,
I'm from the valley.
Different part of the valley.
Yeah.
Proud son of immigrants. My parents, we heard the story a lot, came from Mexico in pursuit of the American dream. They actually met in LA. My dad was here on his own with a couple of my uncles. He gave himself a year to see if he could find a job and get settled and establish a life. And if not, he was going to go back. Mm-hmm. That same year, thankfully, my mom was here with one of her cousins. Same thing. Let's give it a year and see if we can find jobs, get settled. And if not, they would kind of go back. And as I'm still pitching Hollywood screenwriters, they met, they fell in love, they decided to get married and start a family. But first things first, they had to apply for legal residency. And I thank the United States government every day for saying yes to those applications. Because if they would have been denied, my life would have been a lot different.
Absolutely.
So they became legal residents. They settled into the San Fernando Valley and started a family. So I have an older sister who has been an educator her entire life, from teacher's assistant to teacher to assistant principal. And she's now at headquarters for the Los Angeles Unified School District. Have a younger brother who I think I've recruited into public service as well as a staff member. He's been working at City Hall now for more than 20 years in Los Angeles. And Liz, you pay close attention. Older sister, younger brother, that makes me a middle child.
I'm a middle child too.
And it explains a lot in what we do and how we are, right? But, growing up, my dad was a short order cook for 40 years, providing for the family. For the same 40 years, my mom used to clean houses in communities like Studio City and Sherman Oaks and whatnot. So it was a modest upbringing, but honestly, we never felt that way. We knew we were constantly on a budget, but we never felt like completely in need because my parents were working hard and the raises with the work ethic, the values of appreciate what we have. We were Catholics. We were in church most Sundays, and whether it's faith or just the values with which our parents instilled in us, times were tough, but even in tough times, there's always somebody out there who has it tougher.
Yeah.
And it's our obligation as human beings to try to help your neighbors, try to help your fellow man. And the community that we grew up, it was pretty working class, a lot of immigrant families kind of going through the same, working hard, try to make it so that the next generation has it a little bit better.
Yeah. And do I remember correctly that your mom sometimes had to take you to work with her? Because she didn't have somewhere to leave you all the time.
Yeah, but didn't have nannies or, babysitting can be expensive. It's gotten more expensive over time.
Yeah.
And so there'd be times we'd go to work with her and help. But as a child, a little selfish too. If we could help mom finish quicker, that means mom would come home quicker. Or we can accompany her on the way to the grocery store on the way home, maybe pick one or two things out to add to the cart. Those sorts of little incentives and rewards.
That's what little kids do. They know how to play they know how to play it. Did you play Little League, by the way? Because I know you played baseball later.
So grew up playing Little League baseball and and trying to do my homework, because if it's one thing my parents made clear, number one goal is for us to get a good education, right? Their dream was for us to graduate high school and go on to college, regardless of where we went to college, regardless of what we studied, because they knew that that's a chance at a better life, a chance that they never got.
Yeah.
And so they knew how important it was because they didn't have those opportunities growing up. My dad, just a couple of years in elementary school, learned how to read and write, but then started working to help the family. My mom was the lucky one. She finished elementary school before doing the same. So education was constantly reinforced in our home.
And that's what we want, to make sure that our children are better educated than we, have better opportunities than we. And I think that's what you do as a public servant. So thank you.
I remember sharing this story a couple of years ago at an event where I was being honored. Because true story, my dad would pretty regularly interrupt me doing homework. And in hindsight, I know it was the days that maybe he was particularly tired and frustrated. And he would tell me in Spanish, he would say, "Hijo, cuando crezcas, quiero que trabajes con tu mente y no con tu espalda." Right? In English, it's, "Son, when you grow up, I want you to work with your mind, with your brain, not with your back." And we know there's a lot of honor in manual labor. So it's not demeaning to manual labor. It was his way of saying he wanted better for us. And not to leap forward to my public service career, but I just feel blessed that not only did I find a career path where I can work with my mind, I get to work with my heart.
Yeah, because originally I know that you were more in like the science and the math, and then you really understood that you wanted to help people.
Yeah.
And so you made a switch and you worked your way up. I mean, you start with LA Council, then you become, I think at 28, the president of the LA Council. And I know who you served with, and most of them were older than you. And, it's incredible because when you look at who was on that council, and I checked it out, people like Wendy Gruhl and Eric Garcetti, friends of both of ours from my life, just growing up in LA. And you were a little bit younger than them, and you were the president at 28 of the LA City Council, and there's like almost 4 million people in LA. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big deal, Alex.
Yeah.
I know. I just want people to understand.
I guess, and a couple of things even before I first ran for office, right? So growing up in the Valley, loved playing baseball. My favorite subject was math. You haven't asked me what my favorite subject was in school.
No, we were going to get there, but keep going in interview. Yeah.
I knew math well enough to know that the odds of playing professional league baseball were long. And so I needed to have a backup plan. And so my parents pushing education. All right, well, what do you want to be? I want to be an engineer, right? You're good at math and science, you ought to be an engineer. That's what the counselors told me. Yeah. So that's how I ended up at MIT. Yeah. It was the only out of California school I applied to because I love the beach. I love the Pacific Ocean. So it would take a chance of a lifetime like MIT to get me out of California for school. 4 winters in Massachusetts, came back, and the year was 1994. Proposition 187 was on the ballot. So think about this. After 4 years of college and the struggle, the sacrifice of getting through a place like MIT, I come home ready to start my career. My parents are proud because that was their dream come true for me to get a good education. I got a great one. And I see ads on television, the then governor of California, saying the state's going downhill, and it's the fault of people like your parents. The immigrant scapegoating. I mean, a precursor.
Those immigrants that came and worked really hard.
Exactly. And in many ways, a precursor to the rhetoric that we're hearing today at the national level. That was California when I was fresh home from college. So while the engineering degree looks great on the wall, I knew I had to do something different to engage, whether it's at the community level, politically, somehow, so that our community would not be a target. And in hindsight, it was a turning point for California as a whole. You had so many people, like my parents, who had been legal residents for years and years or decades, with no interest or urgency in becoming citizens, finally decided to take that step. And it wasn't just, for fear of their residency being taken away and being deported. It was for citizenship so they could register and they could vote and participate in democracy. And you had a lot of people in my generation realizing, hey, we have to engage, we have to step up. And whether people became organizers or activists,
Yeah.
staff members, campaign managers, that's how I got my start before I actually ran for office. And thankfully, California as a whole, the political representation looks a whole lot different today because the electorate is more reflective of the people.
Yeah.
And you see not just the sort of pro-immigrant policies of California, but leading on reproductive rights and equality and battling climate change and voting rights and so many other areas.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you, going backwards, because I did skip, and you talked about school and your parents, but did you have a teacher or a mentor in school that just, as a young person, saw you and knew that you had potential also?
Yeah, there's a couple great stories, a lot of teachers that I continue to stay in touch with over the years. I mean, Mr. Lopez, my first grade teacher, may rest in peace, just a good friend for the family and really helped my parents keep me on the right track. My second grade teacher, Mrs. Cholodenko, went on to become our principal. My fourth grade teachers, Mr. and Mrs. Baum, who saw potential in me and fought through a little bit of machismo on my dad's side to get my parents to sign the paperwork to send me to Vina Avenue Elementary, great magnet program at the time, where in the sixth grade I had Miss Patton as a teacher. So inspiring. I mean, I can go on and on with teachers over the years, but one of the biggest influences was my high school government teacher, Mr. Alex Ressa. If you look at a lot of the folks who have been elected in the east end of the valley over the years, from Congressman Tony Cardenas, now retired, Congressmember Luz Rivas, myself, Monica Rodriguez from the city council, etc. We all had Mr. Ressa as a teacher at San Fernando High School. He taught us not just about what was in the textbook, but about applying it to the real world. So he obviously made a big, big impact.
He had to make a big impact because those are people that have done a lot, and you're a U.S. Senator.
Do you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
I have a running joke with him. I got a B in government, and I tell him I've been working my whole life trying to make it up.
Yeah, and you're continuing to work on it. That is just one of the things that I say, which is teachers, we sometimes do not realize how important they are, especially with kids whose family are new to the system. And that these teachers really show up and see these kids for who they are and give them that. And I have seen that over and over again. And it's a shout out to teachers.
Yes, big time.
Because they are hugely, my sister was also a teacher, as you were talking about your sister. And I just know how many young people she spent time with and their parents she worked with. And it is just underappreciated and something that we have to continue to, as a society, honor and to get people to be in that profession. It's hugely important.
Yeah, because teaching it's not just teaching anymore, right? Teachers are also mentors, counselors, sometimes a surrogate parent. There's so much that goes into really inspiring a child these days. So God bless teachers. They need better pay.
Let's talk a little bit about your family. You have a beautiful wife, very talented, very successful on her own in terms of what she does, and then 3 boys. How did they balance, and how do you balance, and how does she balance being a wife, a mother, doing what she needs to do, but taking care of these kids? Because your schedule's pretty busy.
Yeah, it's not a 9-to-5 job, that's for sure.
No.
So God blessed me with Angela. I mean, I couldn't do it without her love and support. Of course, our 3 boys. We don't say we're trying to raise 3 boys. We say we're trying to raise 3 gentlemen. Right? There's an important distinction. It's got to be very, very intentional. Angela also grew up in the San Fernando Valley in Reseda. She graduated from Canoga Park High School. I graduated from San Fernando. Her degree's in psychology, inspired by her mom. Her mom is afflicted with bipolar 1 with schizoaffective disorder. So pretty serious mental health condition, but is thriving because family has rallied around her. And we make sure that she sees her doctors regularly and is taking her medications. And in this era where there's a lot more awareness about mental health, because that's how Angela's applied herself, she's a mental health advocate. We're showing by example how people can thrive. And mental health does not have to be a stigma, nothing to be ashamed of. Just as people have, maybe they break their leg or there's a heart condition, you go see a doctor to get help. Same thing with the brain. It's another organ in your body. And I think with the increasing awareness, access to support services and treatment, more people can lead more quality lives as a result.
That's beautiful.
So that's what she does. I guess another story to share with you. I was appointed to the Senate to fill a vacancy created by then Vice President Harris in January 2021, reelected in November of 2022 for a full 6-year term. On election night, we got a phone call from President Biden. And so we were in the car at the time. So I put him on speaker and I said, well, Mr. President, thank you for the call. I'm here with Angela, here with our boys. And he just went on and on talking to them. And he said this. He said, because being the spouse of a senator is like being a senator. You get a lot of the calls, you get a lot of the requests for help, you get a lot of the, the load and the pressures that come with public service, but not much of the attention and the support that you deserve. So that was his recognition. Yeah. He was a longtime senator, so he should know.
I know.
The load that comes with being a spouse of a senator. So it really did.
It is huge.
Recognize that for Angela.
It is huge. On June 12th, when you were in Los Angeles, and I don't know how you refer, but like you were handcuffed, tackled, and you're a U.S. senator. And people talk about in the news from that perspective, which is horrible. But I wondered when I saw that, what Angela and your boys were going through, what you were going through, obviously, but how they were going to feel and what they saw. This is their father.
Yeah.
This is her husband, who she knows. And that's what this podcast is about, is the heart and humanity, which is not about the politics and the policy, because that can be today one thing, tomorrow. But what you went through.
Yeah. There's a lot. It's been a month and we're still sort of processing and unpacking, all right? Not just the political part of it, because I'm still hoping that some good comes out of it. If it raised awareness about what's going on. I know we're a nation of laws, and that includes immigration laws, but how you enforce makes a difference. And there's a lot of, I think, abuses and violations that I'm seeing. That's why I'm speaking up. We saw the intensity, right? The tensions and the fear in Los Angeles. That's why I went during the week to go see what was going on, as this administration was militarizing the second largest city in America. Never would I have imagined the response to my presence or attempt to ask a question at a press conference. Think about that. Ask a question at a press conference in a secure federal building. But you've seen the video, you saw what happens. I think God blessed me with the awareness immediately to know that depending on what I did and what I didn't do, that whole scenario could have escalated or gone one direction or another. The first people I thought of was Angela and the boys, because those images were going to be seen by everybody almost immediately in this day and age.
All over the world.
How are they going to react? Of course, you think about, well, what are the political implications or this and that? But when I think about Angela, I mean, we love each other tremendously. It was going to hurt. When most people saw a United States senator, maybe a senator they know, maybe just a senator that has a title, my kids saw their dad. And it weighed on me because I work hard, not just as a senator, but as a father, to give the good advice, to be the good example, and to always try to do the right thing, right? What I tell my kids regularly is always do the right thing, the right way, for the right reasons, and life is going to work out. And just always try your best to be your best. That's one of the words that I live by. And this is what happens when I'm trying my best to be honest, to do the right thing, the right way, for the right reasons. That's sending the wrong message to them. And I know their hearts were breaking a little bit in that moment. I'll share one other thing, Liz. As much as I thought about Angela and the kids, and it's been a lot for them to unpack, I did not immediately think of my dad. Because my kids saw their dad. My dad saw his kid. I'm a 52-year-old man.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
And I'm close with my dad.
He saw his son.
Exactly.
The son that he put everything into and is a U.S. senator.
And tried to work hard to do it all the right way. And still, that could happen.
Gives me the chills. Yeah.
My youngest, Diego, not even the following Monday, but the following Monday after that. It's summer. They're out of school. So they're here in Washington, and I'm off to work. And normally on Monday mornings, so are you flying to Washington? Or are you going to LA? Or are you going to San Francisco when you're coming home? Those are the questions that leap with. Diego asked me that day, who's going to protect you? So yeah, they feel, and they happen to be my kids, but anybody who sees themselves in me or in Angela or in our kids is feeling a lot too.
Yeah. What advice would you give people right now where you are in terms of life? Because you lead with love. Even after all this, there is not some angry, crazy, hateful Alex Padilla. There is a man of love, justice, and fairness. But what is it? Because I keep thinking we need more love. And it's not just love, I love you, but it's that courageous love. It is that I believe in love in a way that is, I'm going to work so much harder. And in my life, I've had incredible tragedy. I could be very hateful, but I've chosen a path of love, of how do we reach across.
Right.
Having said that, I know that's what you do in your political world, but how do you then give advice to people from that sentiment?
Yeah, from that. So, I mean, I still pray and ask for prayers that some good will come out of this.
Yeah.
But general advice is, because we're living in tough times, much beyond just what happened to me, but we have to keep the faith. We believe in, the values of this country and our democracy. Then we can't give up because it's tough times, right? We have to keep the faith, but keep working, because it's not just going to happen on its own.
No.
For the good, right things to prevail. Literally minutes after what happened to me in the federal building in Los Angeles last month, when the handcuffs finally came off, they offered me a meeting with the Secretary of Homeland Security. And I think they were shocked when I said yes. They probably just assumed I'd be so upset that I would want nothing to do with it. I was not in a frame of mind to meet and have a conversation, but I knew.
But that's who you are.
That's why I was there, to try to get information, to do my job as a member of the Senate of oversight and accountability of the administration.
And I would say even to do your job, which is to take care of the people that you were elected to represent.
Yeah. And also, because it wasn't lost on me, to serve that example as to how you respond to even that type of conflict, an aggressive conflict. We have to be able to overcome, to move back in a better direction. So I tell people who ever since have come up to me, the vast majority have been supportive, offering, love, and the question, so what can I do? How can we help? It begins with, you got to keep the faith. And everybody do something, right? There's still a lot of people, as much as you will call your members of Congress, there's a lot of people across the country who haven't even done that once.
Many people don't know they can.
They can't, and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Or you can, support an advocacy organization on an issue that you care about. Or for people who turned out on No King's Day to march and rally across the country, millions of people came out that day. That's great. That shouldn't be the only time that we all lift our voices and spread this message. And we can, of course, always get ready for the next election cycle. There's so much that everybody can do. If each person, what I ended my floor speech with the week after here in the Senate was, if this administration is that fearful of one senator with a question, imagine how they respond to millions of people raising their voices across the country, right? We're all capable of doing it. We just have to do our part.
And that is what democracy is meant to be. Everybody raising their voice.
Yep.
So we're now...
patriotic thing we can do.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter really. It's not... This isn't a Democrat, Republican, or independent issue. This is the way our government was formed, that we would have different opinions. People would speak their opinion. Then there would be obviously a debate and you'd come up with something, but it was based on people speaking out, voting, speaking out. So here we are, 2025, and we're still having that conversation. So I hope from this people will be motivated to go out and fight for things.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the resilience of our country, right? And the concept of what is the United States of America.
Yeah.
Because we've been through tough times as a country in the past.
And we have overcome.
And we've overcome, and we always come out just a little bit better.
Exactly.
Not perfect yet,
no.
But as long as we're continuing to get a little bit better.
A more perfect union, right? Okay, this is the fun part now, which is get to know Alex.
Uh-oh.
Because you and I could sit here for hours. You don't have the hours, but and I do appreciate all these stories because I think they're important. People can see themselves in stories, and people walk around remembering the stories. They don't always remember the policy, but they remember what you talked about in terms of who you are and how you got here. These are rapid questions just to get to know you.
Okay.
Favorite sound?
Favorite sound? Nowadays, quiet. 3 boys in the house.
I know. Silence. It's the sound of silence. I think somebody wrote a song called that. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite scent or smell?
Oh, chocolate, I guess.
That's a good one. Who's your biggest cheerleader?
Angela.
Favorite sports team?
Los Angeles Dodgers, world champion. Los Angeles Dodgers.
Okay, good. That was an easy one, especially in a good one this time of year. What is your favorite meal? Like if you could have one meal, what would it be?
My kids ask me to see if I'll ever change my answer. It's actually real simple. Frijoles de la olla. It's like pinto beans, just a fresh pot of beans. It can be just the bowl, a couple tortillas, some pico de gallo, puts it over the top. I can eat that for the rest of my life.
Sounds good. And what dessert would you have with that?
Oh, dessert. Do you have a sweet tooth? I don't know. I guess favorite dessert is the tres leches cake that Angela and the boys make me for my birthday every year.
Only on your birthday?
Maybe a couple more times throughout the year, but especially on the birthday. That's the big treat.
Tres leches.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And do you have time to exercise?
Gotta make time.
And what kind of exercise do you do?
Can't say it's every day. A combination of some cardio and some resistance training. As I'm getting a little bit older, it's even more important.
Yeah. I'm sure like there's also resistance training is good for the work here too, a little bit, huh?
Yeah, get some aggression out.
Yeah.
But also, once a year, there's the annual congressional baseball game, which I've played in. So,
and who won the last year, Dems or Republicans?
Republicans have been on a multi-year roll.
Oh, gosh.
So there's always next year. There's always next year.
So you get to keep still playing baseball, which I love.
That's I stopped playing baseball for so many years. I was coaching off and on for my kids.
So you joined the Senate to play baseball again. It's all good. It's all good.
It's just a fringe benefit.
It's a great benefit.
But an incentive to stay in shape, to keep running the base.
Yes, and now that people are hearing about it, that you had a career, you played baseball, you're going to have to get the Democratic team a little bit better so that it doesn't just become a Republican grand slam each time.
Yeah, we're trying.
Okay,
it raises money for charity, so it's all for. It's all good.
It's fun. And listen, you're getting along. It's a good one. And that's the other thing I try to remind people is that when we just talk about heart and humanity, we can get along.
Yeah. No, we do. And we have to. As tough as it may seem, even in the Senate, there's a lot of, we come from different places. We have very different politics, but let's try to get to know each other. Let's see where we can work together. Can't say that's all 100 members of the Senate, but it's more than people might think.
I like that. Favorite music?
Oh, I grew up in LA, 80s, early 90s, a lot of classic hip hop, rap music, 50-50 with regional Mexican, right? That's what I grew up listening to in the house.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite book or a book you're reading?
Favorite book was my mom's favorite book, The Giving Tree.
Oh, it's a beautiful book. It's lovely.
And my kids know it well.
Yeah, I like that. Favorite household chore?
Maybe it's a tie between dishes and laundry, just because at the end of the week, I know Andrew's been carrying the load while I've been at work, so I'm just trying to do my part.
I love that. And is there anything that Alex Padilla does not do well?
Cooking.
You're a good cook.
That's a chore. I enjoy it because I find it very therapeutic. It helps get my
I think
mind
the chore is, I think it is a chore. It's just one that is like something that is, I think, more fun than cleaning and dishes. But
so I changed my answer. Cooking, number one.
Okay, cooking. And you make those frijoles?
We can make frijoles de olla, absolutely.
Okay, good.
And I get it from my dad. Put me in front of a grill, and it's a good day.
Yeah, I love that. Is there anything you don't do well? Because you do everything pretty well.
I'm sure there's a lot. Just ask Angela.
Okay, I'll call Angela next time. And one more. What is your superpower? Like, what is Alex Padilla's superpower?
Faith.
Nice.
In the toughest of times, reflect, pray, stay grounded, recenter. Remember what it's all about. Not just politics, life.
It's beautiful. So this is my last question, which will be part of that, which is, what is joy to you? What brings you joy? And how do you share joy? And if you share joy, how does that give to others by just the grace of your joy?
Yeah, I think, my joy is looking at our family unit. Our family's not perfect. We have our struggles like everybody else, but knowing that, if we're doing our job well of raising 3 gentlemen and seeing their progress and accomplishing milestones along the way, then, being of service to others and from time to time, even an example to others. A lot of fulfillment.
It's beautiful. So I'm going to say thank you. First, I learned a lot. I also was able to come back and just connect with you after a lot of years. And thank you for what you do. Thank you for your service. I was thinking when I asked you about like your superpower and who you are, I think that one of the things that I'll just end with is you're a really kind person. And I spend a lot of time traveling the States and the world, talking to a lot of people. And the advice, they say, what can we do? And I said, and you talked about it today, but be kind. Just be kind to people. We live in a world that has, I believe, a kindness deficit. I don't usually end like this. I just sort of say thank you. Yeah. But you are that symbol and you are that person who is kind. And that's what we need so much more of.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's actually really easy. And life is better. Be kind, be respectful, do unto others as you would have others do unto you.
Yeah.
Love thy neighbor.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay, hug. That's the best part. Thank you. Hi, it's Liz. Please join me for coffee to talk about heart and humanity with our elected leaders. Remember to hit subscribe to get an alert when a new episode is live and for exclusive content. Ciao.